One of the most beneficial habits that we can adopt is to truly learn to practice mindfulness. Today we'll talk about what exactly that is and how we can use it to actually transform our lives. Welcome back. My name is Nena and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk about everything having to do with our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. So if you're like just about everyone else on the planet, you probably always have about 50,000 things in your mind going on at the same time. You are multitasking. You are needing to divide your attention between all the different tasks that you need to get accomplished at one time. You are folding laundry while you're watching TV and while you are talking on the phone. You're driving, but you're also eating and worrying about the presentation that you have to make on Tuesday. If you really think about it, we are almost never fully in the present moment. We are never really experiencing what we are doing. We are doing so many things at the same time, and we're also letting our mind wander and think about all the other things that we always need to get done. Half the time we're too mentally busy to even consider what is happening in the here and now. But the sad thing is that the here and now is the only time that we actually ever have. This is the only time that we are able to really experience. Anything else is just a thought or a memory. Most of us actually spend the majority of our lives thinking about past events, and usually not happy events. Usually it's all those mistakes that we think that we have made, all those horrible moments that we wish we could relive and do over, but we ruminate over them and we think about them time and time again. We also spend a significant amount of time really stressing out about the future, worrying about future events that probably will never even happen, but we really start to think about them and we start to catastrophize them and we start to create stories. And we tell ourselves these stories so often and we keep elaborating on them that we really convince ourselves that this is going to be the path of our real life. We spend so much time in the past and future that the present moment starts to really not matter anymore because we're not even aware that it's happening. And we end up causing ourselves an immense amount of suffering by letting our mind wander to these places that cause us nothing but stress and worry. Our own thoughts cause more suffering than any other aspect of our lives. So how can the concept of mindfulness actually help with this, and what does it actually mean? I know it's a word that we hear a lot of times, especially if we are interested in self-development and personal growth. Is something that is tossed around, but I feel like there is a lot of confusion about what it actually means. So today we'll do three things. Firstly, I will define what mindfulness actually means and why it's important. Then we'll talk about the two different components that make up a mindfulness practice. And then I will discuss the different tips and tricks that we can use to help us really adopt the skill of mindfulness and apply it to our own lives. It is my personal belief that mindfulness is the most important habit you can ever develop for your own life. So mindfulness has really been around for a long time because it was part of Buddhist meditation. But mindfulness has become a lot more popular in the West, especially recently, because people are becoming more and more concerned with doing all they can to maintain their best mental and physical health. And mindfulness is certainly at the root of that. So we can really define this as having a moment-to-moment awareness of everything that is really happening in our reality, from our thoughts to our feelings to our experiences and actions, and purposefully focusing our attention on what is actually happening in the present moment. This simple concept can help us in so many ways, from helping to reduce stress, anxiety, and even depression, lower our blood pressure, help us with sleep issues, and even help reduce chronic pain. It can also relieve suffering by keeping us from ruminating over the past or again stressing about the future all the time. So the the benefits of mindfulness are immense. So the first thing that we have to realize is that the mental agony that we experience most of the time has absolutely nothing to do with what is happening in this present moment. In this actual present moment, usually we are safe and secure. So it's just our thoughts wandering and thinking about terrible situations, and again, the past and the future, that really is at the root of that suffering. So what mindfulness does is bring our focus to what is happening right here and now, which keeps us from feeling that severe anxiety. Now, there's two basic concepts to a mindfulness practice. Now, of course, the first one is that awareness of everything that is going on internally inside of our body and mind, and of course, outside in our experiences. And secondly, having the knowledge about what is beneficial and what is not beneficial to our lives. So most importantly, how can we learn to apply this concept to our lives? There's only 3 steps and they are very simple. They may not be easy because we do have to break some very hardwired behavior patterns, but it is a simple concept. And the first step is to notice when our mind is wandering. And you will be shocked at how often your mind is actually wandering. So you want to be aware when you start to worry about the future or ruminate over the past, and really catch yourself in the act when it is actually happening. The second part is simply to observe those thoughts, but in a non-judgmental way. So we don't want to think, oh, this is a bad thought or this is a good thought. We just want to observe the thought that is there. And the third step is to simply bring our thoughts back to the present moment. So we want to catch ourselves doing it, observe what we're thinking about, and then finally just bring our focus back to the here and now. And you will notice that you will need to train yourself to do this, because all the time we're thinking about other things. It's so rare that we are actually focusing on whatever it is we are doing in the here and now. Our mind is always somewhere else. So it's incredibly simple, but it's not easy again, because we are hardwired to do exactly the opposite thing. So one exercise that I find is really helpful when I just feel that my mind is really spinning out of control and I really am having difficulty reining it in and bringing my thoughts to the here and now. So I wanted to share that with you as an exercise, and that is to really focus on your breath. So you'll have to stop for a moment, close your eyes, and just inhale and think about how the air actually feels going into your body. I know it sounds strange, but if we can really get our mind to focus so strongly on exactly what is happening in our body, we can really just bring awareness to what we are actually doing at this moment. So we can feel that breath going in and out. After we do that a few times, we just want to take a moment to observe what is in our surroundings. We want to think about, even you can do this when your eyes are closed at first, what you are hearing, what you are sensing around you. And then open your eyes and think about what you are actually seeing. Actually look around you and really get a good picture of where you are in this moment. Even think about what it smells like or what energy you feel in the air. But this simple little technique is very useful when you just feel kind of out of control and you're just having so much difficulty, really bringing yourself into that present moment. You can also learn to practice meditation, which is certainly helpful in a mindfulness practice because it's all about being in the here and now. So that's something that you can use as a very effective tool to help you along this path. The present moment can just offer us so much relief from our suffering and from the negative thoughts and emotions that we feel. It's like when we have a huge problem going on in our life and it just really consumes us, but we get distracted for a moment by the television and we get sucked in. You notice that the time that we spend actually watching the television and engaging in it, we forget about our suffering for those moments. So that shows us that it is really our thoughts that create all this agony for us. So if we can learn to focus our thoughts on, what is happening now and not ruminating, you're going to find that you have so much less suffering in your life. And if you're someone that struggles with anxiety, a mindfulness practice is monumentally helpful. I know that from experience. As someone that has suffered from anxiety in the past, mindfulness is the technique that I use to really help keep it to an absolute minimum. Remember that we are really the ones in control of our reality, and the ability to bring our thoughts to the here and now is going to help us lead a much more peaceful and happy life. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please like it, share it with someone else who may need to hear this message today. And also, if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. And I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.